That's not.
Talk on there.
He's gonna get the mic.
Have at it. Liz had this same photo there, but it has multiple dimensions. And at first, you'll notice that Judy has just shoved aside those other fine ladies.
Very clever.
A little tie-in, a little tie-in to other people in the room here. But there was a time when Liz was known by some of her closest friends as the shark. Because she would, at a party, she would circle the prey. And I just wondered if she happened to notice that her mom has a more forward approach. Anyway, the way this all ended was that she apparently, right after this photo, went and told another person who's in this room today, who was her roommate, who had brought her to the party, to, don't wait for me.
It's racier and racier.
And here I thought it was all spontaneous.
I have a ride home, I didn't.
Here we go, and I just have to say what a beauty I got. She mentioned that the reception about the same time as we're here together today, and what she didn't mention was that she planned that reception. She also planned the entire wedding. She, on a very tight budget, she made her own dress, and she even managed to keep the figures low. There was a wedding in the church right before ours, and the bride of that wedding approached Judy and asked to maybe you'd be willing to help pay for the flowers. We'll just leave them here for you. And Judy said, well, no, that's all right. And of course, they left them anyway.
I had $35, you could say that.
You can see Judy's style. She's fond of clothes, to put it modestly, but it's always amazed me how much she could, come home with in a few bags for a few $1,000s. And she's a very comfortable person too. And sitting around the house with Patrick on her lap, and some of these fondest moments. You probably noticed in these slides we seem to move from Christmas to Christmas over the years. This is an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous picture. And George, I don't know if you remember the time that we went with your family to Avalon, Catalina, and you perhaps remember the boat ride over, which you have a picture of Judy on that boat ride over. And then I'm sure you remember the emergency that occurred there. We were staying, and our arrangements were to stay in a scouting camp, Boy Scouts camp or something on the island, in these little rudimentary cottages. And George and I were fraternity brothers, and we were ones that lived in the house throughout the summer, and so we were roomies. And George could mix an excellent martini, and I became addicted to that in martinis. And so here we were on Catalina, and we had the gin, and we had the vermouth, but no ice cubes. And the only ice cubes in the camp were in the refrigerator to be used only for medical emergencies. Suddenly, there was an emergency. Flowers. Judy is very, very fond of flowers, and she arranges them very well. As a matter of fact, she took a class in arrangement in flowers in one of her visits to Japan, and she won the prize at the class. But for me, there's a special benefit for that. I've learned that I can go hiking anytime I want, as long as I stop by Trader Joe's on the way home and pick up she's full of surprises. She one summer went on her own to Minnesota to visit her family at the family farm in northern Minnesota. And but that didn't surprise me, but when I saw this picture of this giant fish she caught on Lake of the Woods, that was impressive. I thought, I think I've never caught a fish that big. This is simply one of my favorite photos in all the world. It's Judy. She has her Liberty scarf on, and the beautiful, beautiful flowers. Always full of surprises. This was at a party in San Diego at Michael's place,
That's Michael.
and it was a party to celebrate Liz's dissertation completion. Is that correct?
Graduation.
And so the guys, of course, slipped off at first opportunity into the storage room to have a stogie. And Judy looked around, wondered where I was, and she quickly found me. And she grabbed my cigar.
It's the last one I smoked too.
This is another favorite picture I look at all the time. It's on my desk. This was in England. I believe it was in Oxford. This is a much more recent picture that I treasure. So, oh, here we go, Jaguar Club. This photo was taken by a member of the Jaguar Club. It's a very good photographer, and all I can say is you put a floppy hat on an already beautiful woman, and you've got something worth framing. And that one too. It's not our car, but it should look very good in there. I'll just wind this up by saying that as a younger person, I would hear people older than myself say that in the end, family and friends are what you really have. And I would hear that and think, yeah, but this report is due, or proposal has to be turned in, or I have to make up this lecture. There's no time for friends. And then you reach a point in which you realize that it really was true all along, and you go back and try to reestablish connections, and you make new friends, and the world goes on. But the short thing, the takeaway message there is that friends are important, family are important, and I'm so glad that we've succeeded in holding together at least some of the hundreds of people over the years that we've had good times with and shared bad times with. And so I'm just absolutely thrilled that each and every one of you had the time to join us here today. Thank you.